Hello, everybody. Today I am starting a video series where I teach some ins and outs on every survivor character in the Evil Dead game. Today we're starting off with Army of Darkness Ash, who is really, really good for melee damage and survivability. And I feel like this is a good starting point because he is my main and I know the most about him. I don't think he's the best character to start out with if you're just starting the game. I think that kind of belongs to Kelly. I think she's kind of the best at really everything. But I do think AoD Ash is a good place to start if you do want to start with one of the ashes. I think he does have the most potential to be survivable and output damage, even from level 1. So he is definitely a good place to start if you are like me and you like playing the game just to be Ash and kill Deadites and use a chainsaw and all that. But yeah, I know that players are fans of the series and Army of Darkness in particular. Or if you're like me, a Chad S and play Army of Darkness Ash because he looks like this version of Ash at the end of The Evil Dead 2. So, as I was saying earlier, AoD Ash is a great character with great melee damage, great survivability, really good soloing potential, and I think he's a really well-rounded character in general. I mean, the man literally has plot armor in a way that they managed to not make OP, which is super cool. So I'll get right into it after you guys speed run clicking the subscribe button and notification button. Post your times in the comments below, and the best time will get like a fucking candy bar or something. I don't know. Let's get right into it. So, AoD Ash starts with 2 perks at level 1. First one is his active skill called the Wise Man's Potion. This gives him some damage resistance, damage buffs. It heals him for a little bit, not a lot though, so I usually don't use it for the healing. And it also reduces his fear by quite a bit, so a lot of the times I do use it just as a fear reducer, like I'll just pop the potion, done, no fear. Pretty cool. It is a good idea to use this whenever a boss spawns or whenever Evil Ash puts down his goddamn flute. I would definitely pop the potion. His passive skill is called Shield Blast. This ability makes it so Ash explodes whenever he loses a shield bar, which is super nice. It makes it to where enemies are kind of punished for hurting you because you're the chosen one and that's your plot armor. And it does a lot of damage, does a lot of balance bar damage. It's really good for your team. So Cheryl, for the love of God, stop getting pissed off at AoD Ash whenever he takes an amulet. It is good for him to use it because he gets 2 shields whenever he uses an amulet, so it is very helpful. Ash's level 10 ability meshes really well with his second ability, and it makes it so whenever he gets a finisher, it has to be like an execution. It has to actually kill the enemy. You can't just like do the animation and then get it. But every time he kills an enemy with a finisher, he gains a little bit of shield power, and this is actually really good because you don't have to have any amulet to start out with to do it. You can just create your own power, which is really nice. So something I like to do is maybe get a finisher in, and then whenever the demon hits me again, I lose the power that I just got, and I don't take any damage, but I do dish out some, which is really good. It's a chef's kiss. His level 25 ability is his weapon mastery, which is the chainsaw. And this is so good. It gives you a 5% buff to every single one of the chainsaw stats, I think. I don't know. I know it does speed, dismemberment, balance bar, and raw damage, so I think that's all the stats. I mean, it doesn't give you any more range, but that's about the only stat that it doesn't enhance. So you get a 5% buff to every single stat except for range, I think. And this does make the chainsaw a really nice weapon. Sometimes you would want to pick up like a lumberjack axe, but if you're like me and a nerd who loves playing Ash, I just kind of keep the chainsaw anyway. But it's a really good weapon at any level, so you don't have to worry about losing out on any damage if you do enjoy using the chainsaw like me. Weapons, I do recommend for Ash would be the chainsaw, obviously, because it looks cool. If you're not really a fan of the chainsaw, I know it has a long kill animation. Some people just don't like the chainsaw. You can go for the lumberjack axe. You can go for sledgehammer for balance bar. I do think his best gun is the boomstick, which is actually good because it looks cool. But it really does have a nice little, it does do a nice amount of balance bar damage, so you can kind of open up some finishers once you're late in the game, and your chainsaw just kills them with one light attack. The way you want to use the boomstick in tandem with the chainsaw is usually around the end of the match. You'll notice that once your melee is all maxed out and you're doing all your damage, that the chainsaw does tend to kill enemies in one hit unless you're going up against like skeletons. So it gets really hard to open up finishers, and that makes the boomstick really nice because you just shoot an enemy, their balance bar is usually gone, and they're usually in execute, so you can hit them with the fucking chainsaw and get some shield power from them, which is super nice. I definitely recommend keeping this to about the end of the game. You don't want to be shooting a lot in the early game because your chainsaw is usually giving you enough finishers, and honestly, shooting as a warrior, especially with that 50% damage nerf that warriors get on firearms, is kind of a detriment to your team because the boomstick does use long ammo, and a lot of hunters do benefit greatly from long ammo, so you kind of want to be more of a pouch for long ammo that you could drop for your other teammates than you want to use it yourself, because you don't really do much with it. You kind of just want to be using it whenever your chainsaw is doing a little too much damage for you to open finishers. And that brings me into the builds. There are two different builds that I really like to run on this one. The first one, it works really well if you're solo queue or even if you're with a team. This is the one I tend to use the most. It really bases itself on like heavy attack damage with the chainsaw. If you prefer to use the lumberjack axe, you can put some more points into the two-handed weapon category. I like to put it in the one-handed because I use the chainsaw, but I do have one skill point that I put into the two-handed so that if I do happen to find like a purple lumberjack axe or like a legendary one, I can still pick it up and I won't feel too bad about myself. But if you really just plan on using the chainsaw and you don't care to pick up any weapons like that, it may be a good idea to take that point that I put into two-handed damage and like maybe take it and put it into Artful Dodgers so you can get 3 dodges instead of 2. I might try that in the future. I think it might actually be a little bit better for the build. But anyway, the strategy I like to use whenever I use this build is to stick with my team, and whenever like a possessed unit or a boss shows up, just heavy attack the hell out of them. You'll usually be getting tunneled. I don't know why demons decide to tunnel this character. It's insane. You usually be getting tunneled, so if you're fighting the boss one-on-one, to kind of open up with a light attack and then dodge, maybe a heavy. Try to get in as many heavies as you can, but definitely get in some lights so you're not just getting staggered by the demon, because they do tend to attack faster than you. But yeah, you're just going to be harassing the demon by just destroying them as fast as you can whenever they possess something. You'll also be hitting lights with the chainsaw on basics and just executing as much as you can. Get as much amulet power as you can before the end of the game. You usually want to fight the book with full health and full balance bar because then you just do a lot of damage to everything whenever you take damage or dish out damage. So yeah, you want to get as much amulet power as you can. One trick I like to do whenever I'm light attacking is don't even let the animation finish. Just do one light attack on the basic and then immediately hit the finisher button. You usually don't even have to finish the attack animation. You'll go straight into the finisher, which is super nice. The second build is made for soloing. Ironically enough, I usually only do this if I'm like in a team of 4 because it does kind of make you want to have a leader Ash on your team, because usually what I'll do when I'm using this build, I'll have the leader Ash drop the chainsaw right at the start of the match, pick it up, get as far away as I can from them, get into a car, alert the demon of my presence, and then drive off as far away as I can from my team. And while I'm doing that, I will be collecting as much pink F as possible. I'll be trying to build the character as much as possible, get healing items, get all I can, and just waste the demon's time while my teammates are collecting map objectives, looting themselves, and then I'll probably meet up back with them at the objectives. And then we could do the knife and the dagger and the pages together, and then do the book, and happy days. So yeah, that's basically I think, okay, here's the thing. The success rate on this is definitely lower than the first build, but I will tell you when it works, it is so powerful because the demon just will not get levels when they're tunneling you. If you can survive it, you will just ruin the demon. They won't get any levels, and by the time you get to the objectives, they'll be like level 4 and won't even be able to spawn their boss. They'll probably like rage quit. From my experience, they usually just DC if you do this successfully. So it does work. It works pretty nicely. It's just that if the demon is really good and happens to just get you in like an unlucky spot, there was one time I was doing this. I got put in one of the trains at the terminal station, and the demon just started wailing on me. They like possessed one, got me in a corner, started beating the shit out of me, and it was just bad. But if you get lucky, and if the demon just kind of doesn't know how to deal with it, you will beat them, and it'll be a landslide victory. It's pretty great. With all of that being said, I told you a little bit about how you should play with an Ash. If you're playing with him doing the solo thing, just like rush objectives as fast as you can, get as much loot as you can in, and just beat the demon as fast as possible. Cheryl, don't get mad whenever he takes an amulet. You can use it. He is good, and he can damage teammates around, or damage enemies around you. So don't worry if this guy takes an amulet. He gets 2 shields from it. It's all fine. It's all good. So that's the tips of like playing with him, playing as him. I did want to give you one tip, one PSA, if you will, whenever you're going against AoD Ash. And that tip is, for the love of God, stop trying to kill AoD Ash. Stop. Stop! Stop trying to fight him. He's going to beat you. He will beat you. He is stronger than you. He can outlast you. He will destroy your shit. Stop fucking fighting this man. I get tunneled all of the fucking time when I play AoD Ash. It's insane how many demons go for me. I know he's one of the strongest characters in the game. I know he's a big threat to you. But what is a bigger threat to you is him getting healed by the support. Don't fight this man. He is going to harass you. He is going to beat the shit out of you, but he is not worth your time. Even if he's solo, he's still going to outlast you for a long time. You will eventually kill him if you get his resources down, if he can't heal himself, he has no shield bar. You'll eventually kill him, but it's not worth it, because by the time you do kill him, the other team will just come and revive him at some point, and then they will have the resources to keep him alive at the end of the game, which is exactly what you don't want. You don't want him to be alive at the end of the game. What you want to do is you want to kill the person who's healing Ash, then you want to kill the leader who's buffing Ash, then you want to kill anybody else, literally anybody. If there is somebody who's not AoD Ash on the team, kill them. They're your first priority. If it's Kelly, they're the priority you take before AoD Ash. If, it doesn't matter who the hunter is, doesn't matter support, leader, kill literally anybody before you kill this man. The game literally tells you not to kill AoD Ash. You will literally, the game punishes you for it. You literally take damage from his shields when you kill him. Stop fighting him. Stop. Stop. I'm not just saying this because I play him. I'm saying it because I know how strong he is. I know how much he harasses the demons. I know how long he can live for. It is not worth your time. I don't care if he's alone. I don't care if he's with the group. I don't care. I don't care what it is. Stop trying to kill him. He is going to beat you. But outside of that, that is really the only thing I have to say going against AoD Ash is just stop fighting him. If he's not the only survivor that is alive, stop trying to kill him. He's not worth your time. You're wasting your entire time trying to kill a target that is just too strong. That is my only tip for going against him. He is too good. But with that, I think I have concluded my tips and tricks for AoD Ash. I hope you learned some stuff by watching this. I hope I was informative. Let me know in the comments if you have any other tips or tricks, or if you think I'm an idiot. It doesn't matter what it is, just let me know. Also, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. I know that like only half of the people watching these videos are subscribed, and thank you to those half, and to the other half, why? Why? Why don't you subscribe? Seriously, scientific facts prove that it is very, very possible that you could become more attractive after subscribing to the channel. These are basic scientific facts. They're provable. I can prove them to you in the Discord if you want to join that. I got a link to that in the description, so if you need me to prove it to you, I will prove it to you. But yeah, other than that, I hope you found it informative. Let me know who you'd like to see in the next episode. And yeah, I'll see you later. Good night, everybody.